Good morning. This is Erin and Tommy wanting to give you your silver update. So, dealers are having a really tough time sourcing inventory. And what that's doing is that's making the scarcity more intense and it's driving the premiums up. Silver today is $27.67. Today is Monday, February 15th, 2021. It's about 9 a.m. on the East Coast. Um, and the premium prices are actually quite ridiculous as I'm continuing to try to source inventory and continuing to grow the volume of my personal physical inventory. On Saturday night, hubby and I were looking at some American Silver Eagle rounds. They're not numismatic coins, they're not low mintage, there's nothing special about them. And we noticed that the price was $41.78. I looked at hubby and I said, that don't sound right. So I said, let me check if silver went up to $40 or something, and I didn't realize it. No, silver's $27. It's a $14 difference. So we're noticing that we're running into a scarcity that's becoming so intense, especially with the dealers unable to source inventory, that is driving premium prices as high as $14. I've seen premium prices as high as $21. It's also creating a huge delay in getting your inventory. Sometimes you're looking at shipping's not going to be done for up to 10 to 14 business days. So you really want to do what you can to position yourself. I am not giving out financial advice. I'm not a therapist. I'm not your mother. But these videos are designed to help suggest how you can position yourself in placing your money in a store of value. In talking with you guys have been amazing. You've been sending me emails. You guys have been showing up to Wealth Wednesdays with questions. My husband has a podcast on Wednesday where he allows me to be like a permanent, guest. I get to do the little guest appearance like Gina and Martin every single Wednesday on Power 357 Radio. You can get that on power357radio.com. I'll put the link in this video so that for those of you who want to understand silver, Bitcoin, stores of value, it's a great show to really get educated. I want to bring some of the education from that show to these videos for you guys. It's on Wednesdays from 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. Again, it'll be in the link below. Positioning. So in talking with you guys, I realized that many of you have lots of questions. For instance, just the phrase store of value seems to kind of go over certain people's heads, and it's because many of you don't understand the dollar. So the dollar is not backed by anything. It was taken off the gold reserve in the 70s. It is simply a medium of exchange. It allows you to exchange it for goods and services. It does not store value. Your checking account, your savings account do not store value. So I turned 40 last week, and my parents are in their 80s. My mom's in her 80s, and my dad, God rest his soul, he would have been 83 this year. When I was growing up and they were in their 40s, they could save money, right? Their savings account had a probably fairly decent interest rate. We don't have that anymore. Banks are not doing that anymore. So saving your money like your parents and your grandparents did, you got to move with the times, right? That is no longer efficient, and it's no longer optimal use of your money. You need to, I suggest you put your money in a store of value, and that's why we refer to these things as store of values. Silver, gold, Bitcoin, certain investments that are up. I spoke with a lot of you who have shared your sentiment on not being comfortable with Bitcoin. It's very volatile. I get it. But I want to give you a different perspective on how to look at it. And I'm going to do more videos just clarifying what Bitcoin is, what blockchain is, why it's getting the attention it's getting, how it can affect you, how it can benefit you. But again, at the end of the day, it's up to you to position yourself. This isn't financial advice, it's just information. I use Bitcoin as a high interest savings account because it is an immense store of value. It has seen over 300% return. So it's a super duper high interest savings account for me, right? Something that no bank in the universe can offer you, nor would they want to. So I also realized that in a lot of your questions and a lot of your emails, many of you just want an idea on how to get started, and you're not ready to take that leap for investment. And it's because I think many of you are beginning to realize that wealth is a mindset and you want to get your mind prepared first, which is why it seems like you're constantly waiting and waiting yourselves out of position. So I'm going to do, like, this video will be part of a series, and I'll make sure when I come up with what the series name is or how I want to title it, that you'll know it's part one of, I don't know how many videos, maybe of 3 or of 4. So the first thing I want to suggest for many of you who just want to get your mind right and gain a better understanding of wealth is I'm going to suggest Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, right? You can find this on Amazon. Many of us use Amazon for everything. I'm an author, so I love physical books because I can, write in them and put my notes and stuff like that. So I would absolutely suggest this be on your kind of read list. Many of you are familiar with the title, but you share with me that you've never read it or you've only read excerpts that you see on social media and on the internet. One thing that Napoleon Hill says is that thoughts are things. So you really want to kind of take an inventory on what you think. I get a lot of conviction in misinformation. I will have people say Bitcoin isn't real money and silver's not going to be worth anything. And I always ask those people, okay, cite your source. Tell me what source you got that from. And they haven't done any research, right? So sometimes your positioning is simply your misposition due to lack of information, lack of understanding information, the need for clarification. There's some people who tell me that they're entrepreneurs and they feel financially stuck. And then I turn around and ask them, well, tell me what you know about finance. What do you know about money? Do you know how to budget? Are you familiar with how to inventory your operating expenses? Do you know how to create a budget? Do you know how to create a spending plan? And they'll look at you, they'll give you the deer in the headlights look, and they have no idea. So I'm going to do my best in these few videos to cover some of these things just to bring it to your awareness and give you an idea on where you can dig just a bit deeper, so that you can start looking into the things that you aren't aware of or need to do a little bit more research on in order to get to where you want to be, which is not paycheck to paycheck. So when we say, how can I start? One of the questions I like to ask is, do you know what your thoughts are about money? Do you know what your thoughts are about finance? Do you know what your thoughts are about success, right? Because some of us experience blocks. So my suggestion is, if you say to yourself, I've never really given it any thought, get a notebook, get a pen, sit down and do an inventory of your thoughts. The thoughts that run across your mind that you don't necessarily share with people. Listen to yourself during the day. Do your sentences and statements, are they more negative than they are positive? Do you have statements like, I ain't got it, I'm broke, just things that just kind of just fly right out of your mouth. You didn't even give it thought. Someone asked you a question and that is what came out, like, I never have it, or I never got it, or hit me back on payday, or just little things that people say all the time. Take an inventory, write them down. Once you start acknowledging your thoughts, this exercise would be a lot easier. It's not something that can be done in a few hours. It's something that needs to be done over the course of days. I would like to say, let this be your research and development project, right? If you worked for a corporation and the corporation wanted to know, what was going on with their expenses, they would do some research and development on how they can increase revenue, or how they can cut back on expenses, or what have you, especially those of you who want to be entrepreneurs. You have to be your research and development department. Your subconscious is your operating system, okay? And believe it or not, the development of your subconscious, which is where your thoughts filter from, it's developed from birth to 7 years old. So that means while you're doing inventory on your thoughts, which come from your subconscious and fly out your mouth as speech, you want to go back to those years. Most of us can go back as far as 3 or 4 years old when it comes to memories, and start taking an inventory. How did my mother feel about money? What did my mother say about money? What did my father say about money? How did he feel about it? My aunt, my uncle, my cousins, older brothers, older siblings, my mother's friends. What did the adults in your life, teachers, coaches, when it came to money, finances, success, what were some of the things you used to hear them say all the time? And start jotting those down, because believe it or not, you soaked that in and took on part of that belief, right? So I know my mother, she used to work at a hospital. She used to work a lot of hours. Even up until I was a teenager, she used to work sometimes 20-hour shifts, right? So one of the things my mother used to say all the time, and I'll never forget it because she used to say it so much, is you got to work hard for money. And she used to stretch out the hard just like that. You got to work hard for money. And as I was doing this exercise, I did this about 2 years ago when I worked for a wealth management firm. Wow, right? I was working for a wealth management firm in Mexico City. My family lived in another city. So what I would do is I would live in Mexico City for the week and then travel home to my family on the weekend. And I would get up early and I would go to work early. I would stay late, and I felt like I was working hard for just some money. Right? So as I'm doing the inventory and I come to this realization, I said, no. Now that I've acknowledged it, I'm going to release it through all time and space and in every dimension, and I'm going to build a new belief. You don't have to work hard for money. This is digital age. You've got digital millionaires, billionaires. You got millionaires who are 23 years old, came up with an idea on something they absolutely love and ran with it. So this is a great exercise to do. I have seen significant results since I've conducted the exercise. It took me about 3 or 4 months to really jot down all of the negative things that I said, that I thought, and to go through with everyone that had access to me from 0 to 7, what they said and what they thought about money, about finances, about success, about wealth, about the wealthy. And I was able to take all of that information, release it, and this is something I had to do over and over and over again, right? So this is not a one-time deal. And then build up new beliefs utilizing affirmations, meditation. For those of you who want a lot more detail on this, you can email me like you've been emailing me, and I'm happy to give you my playbook on releasing money blocks. There's a wealth of information on the internet. You can Google, how do I release a money block? And you'll have, thousands of results giving you their own techniques. But it's something you want to do because you want to acknowledge the things that are creating the ideas that you have in your head about money. And it just helps you get unstuck, and it helps you to get positioned. How are your fears materializing in your thoughts? How are your fears materializing in your speech? Does a large sum of money make you uncomfortable? Some of you are like, hell no, it doesn't make me uncomfortable. And then when somebody puts a large sum of money in your hand, you're nervous. You can't count it. I'm telling you, right? It's things that you don't give thought to, and then once the scenario comes up, you're exhibiting a behavior that's pushing the wealth away, that pushes the money away. There are a lot of people who don't want the responsibility of large sums of money. You can hear it in their speech, right? You can hand them $1,000,000 and they'll tell you, no, 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 I don't need all of that money, right? Because they don't want the responsibility of managing it, planning it, not giving it to other people, whatever their fear is, whatever their apprehension is. Those are the things that can get you stuck and keep you from moving forward, especially if you want to be an entrepreneur. So you absolutely want to take inventory on what your subconscious is thinking and what your speech looks like so that you can release it, forgive it, and then rebuild with power affirmations. I am independently financially wealthy. I am an excellent steward of wealth. I am wealthy. I'm abundant. You can also look up power affirmations on the internet. In the next video, we are going to talk a little bit more about finance. I'm going to do a little bit of clarification on the economy. I'm going to explain to you what's going on with the dollar, especially as this new administration is printing up more money to send out larger stimuluses, what's in their bill, and so on and so forth. How does that affect you who are trying to gain generational wealth? And the one thing I'm going to tell you is you want to lessen your exposure to the dollar as much as possible. You can utilize it for a medium of exchange. I'm not saying do away with the dollar at all. I'm saying you want to lessen your exposure to it. When you have excess funds, you want to put those excess funds in the store of value. So we're going to talk a lot more about that in the next video. But I'm going to leave you guys with love and light. I hope to see you guys on Wealth Wednesdays, power357radio.com from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Continue to email me. I will continue to message you back. And I hope you guys have a great week.